Well, um, good day, ladies and gentlemen, and viewers of the show. I welcome you all to another great episode of Life and Layers with Mr. Tosin. And I remain your humble host, Mr. Tosin. Like I always say, it is a great day. Go out there, do what you want to do. Nobody can bring you down. Nobody can stop you. You can achieve it. You can do it. And so, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm having with me a very lovely and wonderful person, a great minister of God, one of the few people that I know that has a very powerful voice, very, very powerful voice. Is one of those people that they do not need a mic whenever they want to talk or sing or,
Praise
um,
God.
like in the Bible, when Jesus, people will always wonder that how was Jesus doing it, speaking to 5,000 people
Mm.
without using the microphone, without using. I mean, this guy, if you hear him speak, he can speak to 5,000 people without
Wow.
without a mic, and they will hear him loud and clear. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Minister Moses Ademokun. You're welcome,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
You're
No,
welcome.
I do not deserve, such introduction. Yeah, God gives us, you know,
Mm,
utterance and then we speak, but all glory to God. So,
mm. Humility.
you
Washiri, humility.
know,
That's good.
you're being very too kind with your words.
That's good. It's very humble
Praise
as
God.
well. So let's add that to it. Okay.
Praise God. Yeah.
Um, you know, a couple of months ago, I had a younger minister on the show, in person of Minister Victor Oladapo. He's one of the Gen Z ministers, and the topic we're talking about is gospel music and spirituality. You know, we're trying to what we're trying to do is see compare these days like gospel music and secular music. Are there really having any difference, or are we beginning to mix them together? Are we getting to a point whereby we won't even be able to differentiate between what we call gospel music and what we have as secular music? So, like I said, Mr. Victor is a Gen Z, so he gave us a perspective from um, of how the younger generation see it. And today, I'm having somebody who is from the upper millennial. So, um, Minister Moses has been doing music for a couple of years. So he's about to share us his own perspective. And like people always say that the millennials actually happen to be the best generation because, right? I think I'm right.
Absolutely. Well.
Because, they witnessed a lot of things change.
Mm,
You understand? When we were younger, we did not have internet. Yeah,
mm,
like the way we have it now. You understand? We
yeah.
didn't have phones, for instance.
Mm,
We didn't have all of this technology. Even in the churches back then, it was just the drum set and
mhm,
maybe piano, and there wasn't so much sophistication. So it was
mm.
before our eyes that we see all of these things,
Come into
develop
place,
and
yeah.
come into place, and and even music, the way it was back then, is quite different from how
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is
yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
So today is going to be sharing with us his own perspective on this issue. So my brother, for you, how did music start?
Um, yeah, no, I've always, been into music since, since I was born. So my dad happened to be, into music. He was a choir master for a big church in Nigeria
Mm,
for a good couple of years, and yeah, so I was born into it. I had no choice,
mm,
so from scratch, and yeah, so my dad would play different instruments. He would sing, and he was obviously a choir master as well. So it was just, a normal thing
mm.
to be involved in music.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what does music mean to you?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a very interesting question. Um, the music is like a tool. It's like a tool.
Okay.
It's a tool. It's a divine gift from God. You know, it's a divine gift from God. It's a tool that we use to communicate. We can use music to communicate to God. We can use music to communicate with people.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, very powerful tool. It's a tool that God has given to us to be able to sing into people, emotions,
Mm.
great emotions, good
Okay.
emotions, and you know it can also be a tool to bring out some emotions that are not so good as well. So it's a very great tool, and it's a very sensitive tool that when using it, you have to be very sensitive and be in spirit and ensure that um, it's being used for the right purpose.
For the right purpose. Okay. That's good. So you mentioned that it's a gift from God. So, like the way we know that God give gifts, but the thing is that God give good gifts. So which means that music can also come from the devil, right?
that's that's very interesting. No, music is a gift from God.
Mm.
It was even at the beginning of creation,
Mm-hmm.
music was already made. So um, the way it is being used, in fact, there are passages in the Bible that talks about the angels singing in heaven,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's something that is heavenly, something that is divine. Like, it doesn't come from the devil, but the devil used it in a wrong way. The devil, or Lucifer,
Mm-hmm.
would, he was obviously the choir master,
Exactly.
in heaven.
Exactly.
And, it was, using it to worship God and say, holy, 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 amongst the angels, with the angels, But obviously, pride came into it, and it turned sour. In the same way, we on earth, we can use music to worship God. We can use music to proclaim the majesty of God,
Mm.
and worship God in truth and in spirit. And we can also use music in a very adverse way as well. So it is divine. Music is divine. Music is a fantastic gift. Now it depends on how you use it, and everyone needs to be sensitive on how you use music, really.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. So, like I asked, Victor, is gospel music a genre of music?
Mm.
Like we're the same way we have blues, R&B, rap, hip hop. Is gospel because there seems to be a little bit of some in some quarters I hear that gospel music is not a genre of music. Some will say no, it's a genre of music on its own because some people say that we could have hip hop gospel music, we could have rap gospel music, we could have but in your own view, would you say gospel music is a genre of music?
Well, the emphasis here really, because obviously there are different genres, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Jazz, there
exactly.
is
Blues.
blues,
Yes, all sorts.
rock,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah, it can like it's become very, very popular now.
Mm-hmm.
It's become very, very popular. I think the question really with that is either it's a genre or not, because we're all going to have conflicting, interpretation of, what gospel music is, in some ways. But one thing that is for sure, right? The genre is not really the most important thing. What the most important thing is, you know, the power behind gospel music, the power behind it. Um, it's it's a type of singing that it's only for God. It's only for God. Um, Gospel music, you can be singing rock and it will still be gospel, right? The most important thing is the spirit behind what you're singing,
Mm.
the lyrics behind what you're singing, right? So, that gospel music can transcend beyond a lot of genres. You can use rock music
Mm,
to worship God. You can use metallic music to
mm,
worship God.
okay.
You can use R&B
Mm,
to worship
worship
God.
God.
You can use blues to worship God.
Mm,
You can. So so I think the most important thing here is that we shouldn't really focus on, oh, is it a genre or whatnot, like, but it's more of, you know what you can do with gospel music, right? You can say it's a genre because it's becoming really, really, really popular now around the world, right? You can say that. Um, but I'm more focused on what it really is, which is the ability to be able to, be in truth and in spirit. Um, it's not like any other genre that, we're talking about the world here. In gospel music, it's about having the spirit of God. It's about passing things spiritually. You know.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think I got that. But um, you see, earlier when I asked about the devil, because whether we like it or not, the devil is very powerful. You know, in fact, God knows he's very powerful. He's called the prince of the world. You understand? In fact, when Jesus was about to be tempted,
Mm,
when he was tempting Jesus,
mm,
he offered Jesus the world.
mm,
You understand? If he did not have that access, he wouldn't even offer it to Jesus. You
mm.
understand? So that's how powerful the devil is. So the devil also inspires genres of music.
Ah,
So, like I was saying, the devil now, don't you think the devil can also inspire people to produce gospel music? You know what I'm saying?
yeah. No, I think, gospel music, um, or music on its own. Music is from God, right? Um, yes, the devil can inspire people to make music, right?
Mhm.
Yes, people can, like, the devil can inspire, but what I'm saying as well is that, just like God gave us the free will, right? God gave us many, many gifts, and what we choose to do with those gifts, it's up to us. We have that free will.
Hmm.
So the devil took his parts.
Hmm.
So, it's up to us to, ensure that that gift of music that God has given to the world, everyone, uses it in such a way that, it will be beneficial for the gospel, and it will, um, you know, you know, it will glorify God, basically, not in the way that the devil did. So in the right way, basically, which is to glorify God. Yeah. So you might get, people can get inspired, by the way the devil has used music. Obviously, the devil was the chief choir master in heaven, and pride came into it,
Mhm.
right? So pride came into it. But we should learn from that, and as we are, using that gift of music that God has given to us,
Mhm.
pride must not come into it, because we know that before destruction comes pride. We've already seen that already. So
So you don't feel like um some particular type of music,
yeah.
which obviously was started by certain people. Like we have some cases of some artists that they become famous and popular, and then they're being interviewed, and then they will ask, "Oh, what's the inspiration behind this song?" They'll be like, "Oh, I was just smoking a bowl one day, or I was drinking alcohol, I was very high, and it just came to me, you know, or some genres of particular genres of music. we know the founding fathers of that particular genre. Afrobeat now, for instance, now it's been attributed to the great Fela and Nicola Kuti. Rap music, we know the originators of rap music. So, this kind of music was founded by, you know, certain individuals who are not, you know, whose purpose, aim was not to glorify God in any way. If you understand what I'm saying, it was not to glorify God in any way. And then they started that kind of music. And if you notice the kind of people that are also into that kind of music too, they are doing it not to glorify God, but to, for those purposes. So is it okay for us to now, get into that kind of music with where we know that its foundation, it's not to glorify God. It's a bit, yeah,
Yeah, it's a bit touchy, and
yeah.
yeah, it's a bit um like everything in this world,
Mhm.
it's owned by God.
Okay, yeah,
So
yeah, we can argue that.
so
Yeah.
so and even the inspiration that you get, for example, is owned by God. It's still by God, right?
Mm.
God still owns it. Um, the emphasis here would not be towards the genre of music.
Okay.
That's not what I think people should be focusing on. It's not about the genre, right? It's more about the message in the music. Do you understand? Because you know there can be 1,000 genres.
Okay. Okay.
Do you understand?
Hmm.
So do you want not say, oh, that genre has been taken by that person, so I can't praise God. I
That.
can't. Do
Hmm.
you understand?
Wow, makes
So
sense.
no one owns
Owns
the
the
genre.
genre.
No
Hmm.
one. You understand? So the
Okay.
most important thing is God has passed to me a word for the people. And there are so many instances in the Bible that God did that. God to say, "Oh, Moses, get up, you know,
Hmm.
go to a land, go to a land and, preach the gospel there." And Moses is like, "Hey, I stutter.
I saw that. Yes,
I,
Tamara.
I, I'm a
Tamara.
stammerer,
Yeah.
and stuff like that." So there are many, many instances. What about, what's his name again? Uh, it's what's his name again? But anyways, it's gone off my head. But there's so many instances in the Bible that God has sent a messenger.
Like Jonah, the guy
Jonah,
the
that's the
guy
guy.
that
Yeah,
the guy
Jonah. Yeah,
that went to
exactly.
kill every fish. Yes.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
he went. He went at great lengths to try and
And disobey God. You went to
disobey God and not
and not
deliver the
deliver. That's what
message.
I'm saying.
So
Hmm.
nothing should stop us from delivering the message of God.
Hmm. So we
Y-
should not
y-
say, oh, that
So,
genre is taken.
do you understand what I mean?
It's not
Because
taken.
because
Hmm.
you know, to some demographic in the world,
Okay.
that genre could be so much. They could identify so much with that kind. Okay, let's say Jamaica now. What do you call it?
Reggae.
Reggae, for example.
Hmm.
Do you understand? When you send a message, a lyrical message through reggae, for
Hmm.
example, for example, the people in the Caribbean,
Yeah,
they
in the
would
Caribbean.
probably,
Hmm.
key into it
Key to it.
so much
Hmm.
quickly.
Hmm.
Do you
Hmm.
understand? So what if we're looking at a set of bikers, a set of people that they go into rock, they are into
Yeah,
rock
rock.
music.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So is the gospel not for
Not for
everyone then?
everyone.
And you say, oh, I'm not going to approach that.
For
I'm
that
not
because
going to
of
approach that genre because
okay.
apparently somebody has said it is
It
the
is the
genre of the devil.
wow.
You
Okay.
understand? So
That's
it's about the message, nothing, don't we should not be like Jonah who got stuck in the belly of a whale,
well because
there's no reason why
yeah.
you should say, oh, I can't pass the message of God. There should be no reason,
Oh, I like that.
basically.
I like that angle you took it from.
Yeah.
Okay, and that leads me to the next question. So do you then feel that we shouldn't be using certain slangs, certain earthly slangs in our gospel music? Like why I'm saying this is because I saw a clip of one of the older Nigerian gospel artists, very popular in these days. Um, the clip came out maybe last year or last 2 years. I even can't remember. And it was complaining about many new gospel artists that maybe they are using some of these slangs in the songs that they can't even differentiate between what we know as a gospel music and they can did sometimes even in clubs they play gospel songs. Like I've seen some videos like they're playing this gospel song.
Always return back to the word of God. There are some slangs that we know, hey, this is, linked with the devil, right? There are some slangs that, you don't go near. But for stuff like Bebo dear and stuff like that, even God tells us, right, to rejoice, get up, stand up, rejoice, just like even God said, even to the children of Israel, when they were to break down the walls of Jericho, what did God say to them?
Shout.
Shout, go around. And even the Bible says that the shout inside is the winning. Go around, be excited. And what happened to the wall of Jericho? It came crashing down, not by a sword, not by any ammunition, nothing. Just by shouting, just by rising up, and being active for God, really. So yeah, so it really, like, there's some slangs that you obviously you will know, and that's why God says have the spirit of discernment, right? There are some slangs that you know that, hey, it is not, it's not in tune with what is noble in the Bible, and there are some that, hey, come on, it's just a interpretation of a different language, for example.
Okay, so communication is the key there.
Is the key, yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah.
if you can communicate with it, then there's no problem with it.
Absolutely.
But the most important thing is that we should not use slangs that glorify the devil.
Exactly. Yes.
Directly.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, now so there was also something I would like to talk about now, which is that back then our there was no money in gospel music.
Yeah.
You know, the people were gospel music in the 90s, even early 2000s. There was no, except from what they got from churches.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? From churches to help, and which is not everybody.
Yeah.
So, but these days, our gospel artist seems to be making money now,
Good amount,
because we have Spotify, we have Apple Music, YouTube, TikTok. All of these platforms pay them, and these platforms were not existing maybe like 20 years ago. So they are not existing.
Yeah.
So back then we had a lot of secular artists today who would say they started in church, but because there was no money, they were, I don't want to say poverty, but they just like, man, if I stay in this place, I'll get hungry. How more? Understand? and they left. So me, I feel for somebody to leave like calling at that time, it means they were probably not even called by God.
Yeah.
You understand? Because we had people that stayed, like someone like Nathaniel Bassina, for instance.
Yeah.
He started music,
Yeah.
way back.
Yeah.
He stayed. He did not
Yeah.
even share the videos. He said something at some point that he got offered something mega
Yeah.
back then, just to,
Yeah.
to switch into secular music.
Yeah.
Something huge, but
Yeah.
no, he said what, he stayed back.
Yeah.
So that kind of person got called. So now, do you feel these days, because there is some money now in gospel music, that do you feel that will not encourage people who were not called by God to now, maybe stay back? Okay, since there's money here, now let me kuma just stay here and follow them and be making the money.
Yeah.
And then how do we now differentiate those called? That's like 2 in 1 question. Do you feel since there's money there now, it will encourage some people who would have left to stay behind?
Yeah.
And secondly, to we the masses, we that we cannot sing, we that are looking up to you guys to get me. So how do we differentiate?
Yeah. Number one, obviously, like there are people that obviously are not called by God, but they are into music, right? And they can see, how gospel music has become, quite, commercialized now. There's a lot of revenue that can come into it and whatnot, and as a reason, yeah, of course, like, that's there, and it all as well goes back to the spirit of discernment. Like, you would know them, right? You would know them by the words, by the words in their lyrics. You could even write the best lyrics, for example, or lyrics that it's like it came directly from the Bible, but when they're delivering it, for example, you're ministering, you would know a minister, separate from a performer. You would know, because we're talking about being keyed in the spirit here, right? That's the most important thing. When you are in the congregation worshiping God, you would, especially, God is always there. If once you can, there's a way you can sense the spirit, and there's a way that you can see a gospel minister or someone call themselves a gospel minister, whereby they're basically just performing, and the music is nice, the vibe is there and whatnot. And do you get what I'm saying? There are some different types of emotions that you can feel as well when someone is ministering. There are some deep emotions that you can feel when someone is really, really ministering. And there are some other types of emotions that you can experience when someone is just performing. Oh, this is so vibey, do you get what I'm saying? Right? So you can definitely sometimes, and obviously it depends on the level of discernment you have, you can definitely know. But however, and it's just one thing I want to say is that, I don't think it is up to us.
Okay.
To
what do you mean us?
figure out,
is it the
like let's say
music people or the congregation
music
okay.
people, everyone,
okay,
because everyone is, so I don't think it's up to us to start trying to figure out, is this person really called, or is this person, do you get? Because when you're being called by God, it's personal. Sometimes, a lot of times, nobody's there.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't think we should sometimes just go ahead and say, oh, is this person called? And I don't think that should be the question. I think it should be more of, am I really, really filled spiritually by this encounter I had with this person under the administration? Do you get what I'm saying? I think that is, the way to go about it, rather than, has this person been called by God? Like, were you there?
Because like it says in the Bible that in the end times we're going to have fake pastors, fake, and we can see them all around.
Yeah.
So I feel the same way we have fake churches.
Yeah.
pastors, we definitely have fake music ministers.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So it's God should just give us. We should just ask for the
God
spirit
should
of
give us good discernment, and
discernment.
obviously, like, you know, like, there are some times whereby I've been under ministrations from um, certain gospel artists, and I'm on the floor rolling. And this is not emotional, oh, I love the music. No. This is God is working in you at that moment.
Wow.
And that is what we want. That is the kind of experience that we want every time we fall under administration of an artist, of a gospel minister. In fact, I don't want to use the word artist, minister, because they're they're in service to God, for His people, right? So I think that's the most important thing. In terms of the question about, oh, was this person called or not, and why, I don't think it's something that we should really dwell, much about really now. But,
Okay. Okay. Well, as we are talking about spirituality and gospel music, so these days with the new age gospel artists, do you think many people are removing? They're trying to be more acceptable, and they are forgetting the core reason why they were called. Because I feel sometimes they just want to be accepted, they want to go commercial, they want to blow, rather than focusing on the core message of why they're called.
Yeah.
Do you sometimes?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you see, we're in this world, and there are different pressures. There is the human condition, right? There are different pressures in life. So, when you see, people going away from their calling, or maybe their purpose, for example, or what they usually do, like, it's not rare. Do you understand? They are those pressures. However, it is important to understand your calling, to guide your calling, to guide your purpose in life, not to allow the pressures of the world, to stop you from continuing in that purpose, no matter how difficult it is. Because everything in this world is temporal. It's temporal. No matter what you have or what you don't have, it's temporal, right? But your calling and your purpose in life, there's no bargain in that. That's permanent. That's permanent. So you must guide in that midst of trials and temptation and whatnot. You must guide your purpose. I'll give you an example, and this is probably a little bit away from the gospel music.
Okay.
But if any of us have been watching the African Cup of Nations, right? There is this guy. I can't even remember his name, but I think he was from Congo, and there was a guy who, is from Congo, and in every match that Congo was involved in, he will go there and he will stand like this.
Oh yeah. I was doing the Patrice Lumumba.
Lumumba, exactly.
Yeah.
So basically, Patrice Lumumba was like a patriot in Congo,
he got killed.
and he got killed just because he was trying to gain independence for Congo,
and do
the right thing, basically, and so basically, right. So there was this guy, who was, trying to honor what Patrice Lumumba, what he stood for, and he was trying to bring everyone's attention to it. So he would be like that, for basically 90 minutes, or 120 minutes, and that was quite admirable. Right. Do you know that immediately after, and this is what I heard, right? This is what I heard. Apparently after Congo was knocked out of the competition, there were some people who came up to him and say they were going to pay him to continue doing what he was doing.
Oh.
It was going to. I heard that they were going to pay him about $2,000 per match to continue throughout
the tournament.
the tournament,
Wow.
right? So, and he declined.
Hmm.
And he declined. He had that, what do you call it? That ability to understand that once money is tied to the message, the message is no more a message. Once he is being paid for the message that he's trying to pass, then it's not really a message anymore.
Wow.
He declined. Do you know what $2,000 is like per match? That's a lot of money. You understand? And that's exactly now bringing it back into what we are talking about now. You know, you must guide your purpose in life. It must not be attached to any financial gain. It, you know, you must guide it. The devil must not steal that purpose for you. You must know the purpose. You must discover your purpose, and you must guide it. You guide it, you know, and it must not be monetized. Basically, your purpose in life must not be monetized.
That's a good one. So we are coming to the end of towards the end of it. So now, how like we've talked about music being a major tool, you know, right from time. Because I could even recall in the Bible when Saul was having challenges with evil spirit, they would call David before David came. They will come and play the harp, and then the evil spirit will. So music is a very, very powerful tool. So how do you do we see music? How do we, as you as a gospel person, as a gospel musician, and all, how then do we make music become a major tool to take over the world? Gospel music now, to take over, to evangelize and, you know, play in the hearts of people.
No, like we must, you know, make sure, you know, we, you know, educate, you know, a lot of people what gospel music really is. You know, it's not only about the good vibes you get, for example, from it, but it's about the message. You know, it's about the message. God is always speaking to us. God is always speaking to us. He's always. So, you know, we must educate, you know, people that it's about the, you know, hearing continually from God, ensuring that that link between us and God, you know, is there on a daily basis. We must always walk in spirit. We must always be sensitive to things happening around us. We must always be sensitive to when God is speaking, you know, because once we do that, once we're getting, you know, messages, there are different messages for a lot of people in the world. Once we are getting messages from God, once we are getting communication with God, you know, that would stand the test of time. But when we are creating music, just it sounds good, and what, in fact, sometimes some things that sounds good today, in the next 2 years, 3 years, it's not trending anymore, right? But when the word of God is permanent, but when God is speaking, you know, that lasts a lifetime. And that's, we need to educate a lot of people and say, hey, always hear from God. Before you take your pen and start writing, listen to God. Listen, or even when you are writing, always give space to God. What is God trying to say to his people? You know, and that way, gospel will continue to spread. Because what's the gospel? It's spread the word. Go ye into the world and spread the gospel. Spread the message of God. So.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so as a minister, so what are your plans for the year? You know, the year's just starting. So what are your plans for the year? Are you planning to drop a new single? Have you heard from God? Or what is it for the year?
Well, no, obviously there are definitely, you know, things, you know, in the works.
Okay.
You know, and there are things in the work. You know, working through them as a music minister, And yeah, so the plan is to continue to write and create things, and I'm sure when it's the right time, they'll come in. And obviously, it's very important to, daily work with God. You know, always be sensitive in the spirits. Get new materials, new inspiration from God this year. So this year it's going to be massive. By God's grace, and yeah, that's it really.
Okay. So on a final note now, do you have any word for somebody who is like an upcoming gospel artist who feels that he has a lot of message, but somehow it's not getting out there? You know, he probably is hearing from God, he's writing these songs, is releasing the song, but somehow it's not getting, the word is not getting out there, and he's trying to feel discouraged. Do you have any?
Oh, do not ever get discouraged. You know, everything aligns at the right time. The Bible says that He will make our lives beautiful in its time, right? And it doesn't mean that your life is not beautiful, but in terms of your word being out there, it will align. Like it will come, it will, and the glory is not ours anyways, so you shouldn't be worried about it. It's God's, and God will always do His work. It's about God, right? So yeah, just keep going, keep being close to God, keep listening to God. We are ministers, we are minstrels to God, and yeah, never get discouraged.
Okay. So that's it. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Moses Ademokun, for coming on the show. I've learnt a couple of things from you today, and thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, so that's it for today. A big shout out once again to our guest, Minister Moses Ademokun.
Thank you for
So we are
having
going
me.
to be expecting great things from him. Thank you very much. So thank you guys for watching. So please like, share, and comment. So till we meet again next time, I remain your humble host, Mr. Tosin. Thank you and bye.
Thank you.